everybody, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing great at home and having as much fun as you can possible, and sticking with the schoolwork and sticking with the Beaver meetings. It was great to see so many of you show up to all the sessions on Saturday. This week's video is all about woggling. So we're going to hopefully teach you how to make different types of woggles. And the one that we're going to try and make today, here's one I made earlier. I wasn't good at that the last time. So this is what's called a cobra weave woggle. We also have these ones here that are called Turk's head woggles. So we might show you how to make that one in another video. But this is a cobra weave. So it takes a scouting knot. So it's practicing working on your knots. And it looks complicated, but it's actually quite easy to do because even I was able to learn how to do it from scratch. So a couple of things that you're going to need. You can need a little candle, not to keep you warm, but I'll show you what that's going to be used for later. A little tub of water, a Pritt stick tube, or some tube similar to this size here, but Pritt stick tube, maybe you've got something like that at home. You'll need scissors or clips, and this might come in handy just for a lighter or we could also use the flame there as well, but I'll show you why this is a little bit easier now in a second. The other thing then you're going to need is some paracord or some rope. So I happened to get some paracord on Amazon. It was a couple of euros, delivered in a couple of days. You can get wild different colors. So you're going to need some paracord or some twine. Actually, the other thing you're going to need, I left this down here, is a measuring tape. So to make one of these woggles, you need in total 270 centimeters, so just shy of 3 meters of paracord. Okay. Now, if you're going to make two colors like we have made here, you need about 135 centimeters of each color. So typically how I go about that, I measure out my paracord. Oh, this is where, here's one I made earlier, comes in handy. Actually, I do have one I made earlier, but I'll show you that in a second. So if you're making two colors, let's get measuring up here. So I go on the centimeter side and I'm making a 2 color. So I will want 135, there we go. And that's where my scissors comes in handy. So this is color number 1. And then this wild looking green color is going to be color number 2. So as you can see, because we're working with sharp objects or sharp implements and we're working with some flames, it's always good to have somebody around that can give you a little bit of a hand, because we don't want any accidents to happen. Now, I am very lucky that I have Hannah, who's a scout, in the room with me while I'm doing this. So she's making sure that everything is going to be a-okay. So when we're making them with two colors, it's the fun part. You have to join them together. And this is where the candle comes in handy. So if you move the candle here, and what you can do is, you could this is practice your magic tricks or whatever it might be, but you can bring the two of them together. Let's just make sure this is nice and straight. So we can bring the two of them together. And then the reason why I brought the water is I can wet my fingers, and then because my fingers are wet, I'm not going to burn myself. And then I get a nice seal on those two together. So I brought the two pieces together. Okay. So once we've got our two pieces joined together and we've got our 270 centimeters, we're ready to go. So now, the hardest part in all of this is getting your first. Now Hannah, if you want to come in a little bit closer, The hardest part is getting started, okay? So what you'll want to do is, you'll want to, obviously you've got the center because this is where we've joined these two. So you want to get your rope around the tube and then just feed both ends and pull it through until, and what I try and do is make sure I get that little join as the centerpiece as you get it nice and tight. Okay, so that's what you're looking for, is getting that in the middle and getting it around the tube like that. Okay, now, so decision time. Now you've got to figure out which color do I want on the top and which color do I want in the middle. So if I want this color to be my top and bottom, that's the side that I start with. Or if I want this color to be my top and bottom, that's the side that I start with. And once you get started, the rest is then just about following a weave. Okay, so I'll show you the first couple and then we're going to fast track and get back to the end. So I'm going to start on this side. So it might be a good idea, Hannah, maybe to look down at what I'm doing. We can do this by candlelight. So you make a loop on one side like this with the piece of paracord running across the top two there. And then you want to get the other end and you want to get this over this tail here. So that's running out to my left-hand side. And then you want to go under this is the tricky part, but once you get through all of this, it gets pretty easy from here. So you want to go under, just give yourself a bit of space. You want to go under there and then just pull it through so you don't have any slack. And then you want to go up through this here. Now, and then you just pull those through. So that's basically the first knot that you've got to do. Okay, and it should look something like this. So on the left hand side, you should be left with a loop like this. Okay, and this is a good trick to remember. So it's a weave. So we're going to go from one side to the other, from this side back and over and back and over and back and over and back. And how you know which side to start on is you look to see which side you have the loop on here. So that tells you that's the side I need to start on next. And I do exactly the same thing that I did. So I create a loop like this and I have my tail going that way. I bring the other piece over. I go underneath. This is tricky, but when you've got smaller hands, this will be a lot easier to do. And then you want to feed up through the circle like so, and then you pull through. Okay, so that's the second one. And now you see this is telling us we got to start on this side. Now what I like to do at this point is I get rid of the tube because you can see I've made, can you show them there? So the reason why I use the tube is that's pretty good size for a woggle. As you can see, it's going to fit tightly around my necker when I'm done. So I like to take it off at this point because it's a bit easier to do the under and over piece. So starting on this side, and then I go over, I go a loop, and then I come over the tail, and I go back up through the loop that I created, and I pull it nice and tightly like that. Okay, and then we go this way. And under. Now, and then we go over and under. So I think we were going to fast track this part, weren't we, Hannah? Was that the plan? Yep. So I'm going to pause there and I'll come back to you once I've gotten the whole way around. See you in about 30 seconds.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me.
So that was pretty cool, wasn't it? How fast were my hands going in that part of the video? So as you can see, I'm getting close to the end now. So I've got my nice top layer in green and I've got this lovely multicolored layer underneath. And I'm getting quite close to the end. Now, because I was kind of working a bit fast, I probably haven't made this as tight as I normally would. But that's okay, because we'll have a few little straggly bits left. But as you can see, I'm getting close to the end. So always remembering that you start on the side where you've got the band, the piece running over the top. That's how you know which side to start on. I don't have a loop here. I've got just this, but I've got a loop on this side. So I start here. So I do my loop here and I go over the tail, underneath and up through the loop. And I pull that nice and tight. And I need to start on this side, so I go over and under like so, and I just dip that in the water, but that's okay. And I'm probably just going to do 2 more now at this stage just to finish this off, and then I can show you how we finish. Actually, what do you reckon? Will I do 1 more? Yeah. Let's try squeeze 1 more. So always knowing I start on this side, over, under, and then we pull through like this. Now, so I've gotten to the end. Now, typically, actually, when I make these, typically I end up using up all of the cord or all of the rope that I've used. But this one it's not too tight, so it'll go around a necker. So all I'm going to do is just snip away the extra bits. That's why this little gadget is handy, but a scissors does the same job. Snip them away. And this is again another fun part, but make sure if you're doing this, you got somebody with you or you ask for somebody's help. So all you want to do is you just want to light that. So that just creates a seal so it doesn't come apart. And I do the same on this end here. And there you have it. And that is your paracord woggle or rope woggle using what we call a cobra weave. And just to show you, you can take away your normal. And knowing how often a lot of you lose woggles when we're out and about, it can be handy learning how to make them. And if you ever do lose a woggle, you've got a spare one at home in some really, really cool colors. So there we go. So I'm going to just stop the video there for now, and then I'm going to come back and show you the 3 most important things to help you get started on making a woggle like this one. Back to you, Nemo.
Go.
Okay, so we're back. Last piece. So I just want to show you the getting started knot, because that's the most important part of all of this. If you get that right, the rest of it flows. So with your tube, you create a loop like this and you feed the tails into the loop like that, making sure that that bit is in the middle. Next of all, you want to do like tying laces almost, left-hand side or right-hand side, and bring the tail out. And then you want to bring this over the piece you've left to the left. You go underneath the 2 attached to the tube, and we'll just make sure that's staying tight. And then you come up through the loop you made on this side, and then you pull it nice and snug. Not tight, just snug, like so. And that, my friends, is your starting knot for a cobra weave woggle.